Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the second video in web development. In this video, I'll be discussing creation of tables and forms. Table. A table in HTML is created using the syntax. So this is the syntax for the table element and can be used to represent information that exists in a two-dimensional grid. Tables can be used to display calendars, financial data, pricing tables, and many other types of data. HTML table can contain any type of data like numbers, text, images, fonts, even other tables. HTML table contains any number of rows. So rows are represented within the angular brackets TR. Each row contains any number of tables data cells that is represented within the angular brackets TD. Some browsers do not display borders for the table by default. However, we can do so via CSS. Many tables will contain some type of headings in the first row. In HTML, we indicate header data by using TH instead of TD element as shown in the figure. Because browsers tend to make the content within a TH, that is the header data element bold, but this can also be done by CSS. The main reason we should not use the TH element is due to presentation reason. So this is the example. This is the basic structure of the table. So where table that is within the angular brackets, and then TR which represents the rows, and TD which represent the columns. So this is how you create a table. This is the basic structure of table. And if you use TH, that is the heading block, which makes the headings bold. So so this is how it looks. So let us execute this. So I've already typed the program. So let me copy it. I'm opening a new notepad. So notepad is used to type HTML program. Okay. So after typing, we are going to save it as. So let me give example. So we have to save it with the extension HTML. Okay. After saving, so this appears in whatever the browser you use. So here it is in the Microsoft Edge browser. So let me double click on it. So this is the basic structure of table. So how the rows and columns are created. So you can see two rows are created as in the code. We have written code for two rows, TR and TR. And there are 5 columns. So there is 5 columns in this table. So this is the basic structure of table. So now let us see what happens if we had heading. Okay. So I've already written the program. So let me copy it. So for the heading, we need to create another row. Okay, and that will be before That will be the first row. Yeah. So we're going to save it, control, yes, and then refresh this. Yeah. You can see here the first row, which is highlighted, which is in the bold, is the heading. So this is the example for table. So two key features about tables are first, the first is that all content must appear within the TD, that is the column, or TH, the heading container. The second is that each row must have the same number of TD, that is columns, or container. So they're telling that if you are creating a table, whatever the content of the table is written within the column or heading, and whatever the like how many number of uh, uh, columns you have created, so all the rows, each and every row should have same number of columns or headings. There is a way to change this second behavior. So this second behavior can be changed. So it can be merged, like two columns or two rows can be merged. If you want a given cell to cover several columns or rows, then we can do so by using col span or row span attributes. So we can merge two columns or rows together as one cell. So let us see the example how it works. So first let us see the example how column span works. Col span. Yeah. Control yes. Then let me refresh this. This is the example. Sorry, this is the output for the example. So let me open the code and explain how it works. Okay. See, according to this program, so this will create a heading row, okay, heading row, which is telling column span two. That means it is telling to combine two columns. So two columns, like two cells combined is named. Okay. So that's name column is there. Then age is the next heading. Okay, next column. So next another row. This is about the first row. This is done. This one is done. First row is done. Now we'll go to the second row. So in the second row we have Jill Smith 43. So Jill Smith. So both comes under name itself. Here the two cells are combined. So name is having two cells, like it is merged. Two cells are merged here. So both Jill and Smith comes under name. Age is 43. Similarly, the next row here we'll have Eve and Jackson and here 57. So this is the output. So you can observe same here. You can observe same here as I explained. So this is all about the column span. So now let us see the output for row span. So let me copy the code for row span. Before going to the output, let me explain what is the output. Okay. See, here the first row is created. So the first row is the heading, that is name. Okay, and then we are having Jill. Okay. In the next row, it is telling that two rows are combined. So two rows is phone. That means both the two rows is phone. Okay. And you will be having 5, 5, 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So let us see the output. Yeah. The other one. Next, in the next row, 5, 5, 5, 5, 8, 7, 4, 5. So both rows, these two are two separate rows, which is in the one next to the phone. That is the phone. Phone is merged. Two cells, two rows are merged here. So you can see that in the output. So this is the example for row span and column span. So apart from these elements, we are having some additional elements. The caption. So inside the angular brackets, we are having caption. So this element is used to provide a brief title or description of the table, which improves the accessibility of the table and is strongly recommended. We can use the caption side CSS property to change the position of the caption below the table. So we are having T head, T foot, and T body elements. Then in practice to be used quite infrequently, but make some sense for tables with a large number of rows. With CSS, one could set the height and overflow properties of the T-body element so that its content scrolls while the header and footer of the table remain always on the screen. The call or call group elements are also mainly used to aid in the eventual styling of the table. Rather than styling each column, we can style all columns within a call group with just a single style. The only properties we can set via these two elements are borders, backgrounds, width, and visibility, and only if they are not overridden in a TD, TH, or TR element. Now the next topic is forms. Forms provide an alternative way to interact with a web server. Forms provide a much richer mechanism. Using a form, the user can enter text, choose items from list, click buttons. Typically, programs running on the server will take the input from HTML forms and do something with subsequent HTML based on that input. There were controls for entering text, controls for choosing from a list, buttons, checkboxes, and radio buttons. HTML5 has added a number of new controls as well as more customization options for listing controls. So this is the structure of the form. So it is constructed in the HTML. It is same as the table. or list using special HTML element that is formed inside the Angular brackets. So in this figure, you can see the structure of the HTML form, and the form it is defined by a form element, which is a container for other elements that represent the various input elements within a form, as well as plain text and almost any other HTML element. So let us see the form control elements. So before that, let me show you the basic structure of form, like the basic structure, how it works. Let me delete this. Let me copy the paste. So just creating a name. Okay, to enter a name, copy this and paste here. So let me close this. Control S. Let me go here and refresh. So you can see the form. So this is asking us to enter the first name. We need to enter first name here. So this will take the name. You can see here, I can type my name there. So now we'll see the control elements. So what and all input we can give to the form using control elements. So first is the text input controls. Most forms need to gather text information from the user, whether it is a search box or a login form or a user registration form. Some type of text input is usually unnecessary. Okay, so here using the text, that input type as text, you can type the name, or you can type anything. For example, the example which we saw now, the input type was text. So I was able to type my name in the given space. So text area. So when they give text area, it creates a multi-line text entry box. You can add content text or using HTML5 browser. So this is basically used when you need to give the description. So when there for example, in some forms, feedback forms, there will be a place where you need to give your opinion or suggestion. So in that case, you need to type more than one sentence. So in that in that case, you're using text area. Next is password. So in this pass, if you give this as an input, then it creates a single line text entry box for a password. So it makes the user entry as bullets or some other characters. Search. Here, search, it creates a single line text entry box suitable for a search string. This is an HTML5 element. Some browsers on some platforms will style search elements differently or will provide a clear field icon within the text box. Next is email. Email is when you give this type, you need to enter the email there. So that is why email is used. You need to enter email address there. So next is tel. So it creates a single line text entry box suitable for entering a telephone number. So that is used for telephone number. You cannot give any alphabet there. Next is URL, where you need to enter the links. So that is it. So this is the example of all the control elements. So you can see type, how the type is executed. And this is the text area. Text area. So enter some text. So enter some text. So you need to enter the, so it displays like this. And next here we are having password. So it takes the input like this and search. You can see, enter the search text, email, URL, and telephone. Next is select list. The select element is used to create a multi-line box for selecting one or more items. The options can be hidden in a drop-down list or multiple rows of a list can be visible. Option items can be grouped together via our opt group element. The selected attribute in the option makes it a default value. This option can be seen. So this is the figure. You can see this is select is basically used when you need to select the options. So when you have multiple options and you need to select any one out of them. So that's why it is used. For example, if anyone if in the form it is asked which place you belong and given multiple option, then you need to select the place which you belong in that list only. So that is the case you use select. Next is the value attribute of the option element is used to select. So inside the select, you're having the attribute option at value attribute of the option element. So this option element, it helps to give the values, the option values, that what value will be sent back to the server in the query string when that opinion is selected. The value attribute is optional if it is not specified when the text within the container is sent instead. I'll show all these example execution at last. Next is radio buttons. Radio buttons are useful when we want the user to select a single item from a small list of choices and we want all the choices to be visible. So to make a choice, so radio buttons are used to make a choice. For example, you can see here is a continent and there are three options given and you need to make a choice among these three options. So then you need to click on the radio button to select them. That is the purpose of radio buttons. Buttons are made mutually exclusive. Only one can be chosen by sharing the same name attribute. The checked attribute is used to indicate the default choice, while the value attribute works in the same manner as the option element. Yeah, the purpose of here in the select, we use the option element to give the value. Here we are just using value and assigning with the value. So it behaves same as the option. Next, we're having checkboxes. Checkboxes are used for getting yes or no or on off responses from the user, as can be seen in the figure. So you can see the figure here. So here, like where would you like to visit? Canada, France, Germany. So you can give any number of options you want. Like Canada, you're willing to visit Canada and Germany. So both the choices you can select in the checkbox. Or if there is any terms and conditions, and if you're asked to, if you are asked to accept it, then you need to put a checkbox there in the form, so that by clicking that, you can accept the terms and conditions. So we can also group checkboxes together by having them share the same name attribute. So each checkbox will have its value set to the server. Like with radio buttons, the checked attribute can be used to set the default value of the checkbox. Next is button controls. HTML defines several different types of buttons, which are shown in the table. we can see the table. So these are the buttons. Like you will, after enter filling the form, you need to submit it. So when you click the submit button, the form gets submitted. So in that case, you're using submit button. Similarly, reset button. So all those kind of buttons are provided by HTML. So submit button creates button that submits the form data to the server. Reset creates a button that clears any of the users already entered form data. Button creates a custom button. This button may require JavaScript or it to like you can add uh, you can define your own button using this button. But you need to write JavaScript code for this button. For example, if you need to add a button uh, to make a multiplication, just giving the button name as multiplication, then you need to write a code, JavaScript code for multiplication. And next is image. It creates a custom submit button that uses an image for its display. Next, we are having specialized controls. There are two important additional special purpose form controls that are available in all browsers. The specialized form control is the input type file element, which is used to upload a file from the client to the server. The usage and user interface for this control is shown in the figure. So you can see in the figure. So in using this control, you can choose a file. For example, in many forms, you would have asked to upload photo or any document. So for that, you get a button that is choose file. So when you click on that, it takes to the directory, your folders, where the file is stored. So you can select that particular file where the document is available and you can upload here. So that is why you use this specialized controls. Next is number and range. So in many situations, like rating any thing, so you can give the number rating 1 to 5. You can mention the number, and you will be having the option to rate. Like you can select 1, 2, 3, anything within that range. So that is why we use number and range. So when input via standard text control, numbers typically require validation to ensure that the user has entered an actual number. And because the range of numbers is infinite, the entered number has to be checked to ensure it is not too small or too large. The number and range controls provide a way to input numeric values that eliminate the need for client-side numeric validation. Next is color. Not every web page needs the ability to get color data from the user, but when it is necessary, the HTML5 color control provides a convenient interface for the user. So this as shown in the figure. So you can see the figure how HTML5 it provides a convenient interface for user to select the color. Next is date and time. So in some form, you need to enter the birth date. So when you need to enter the birth date, the date appears in a calendar form. So this date and time controls, this element helps to uh, make the date date and time appear in the calendar form, which you say. So asking the user to enter a date or time is a relatively common web development task. Like with numbers, dates, and times often need validation when gathering this information from a regular text input control. From a user's perspective, entering dates can be tricky as well. You probably have wondered that some point in time when entering a date into a web form, what format is what format to enter it in, whether the day comes before the month, whether the month should be entered as an abbreviation or a number, and so on. So we'll see the example here. So you can see the example. So date creates a general date input control that format in the format year, month, and date. Next is time. It creates a time input control, hour, minutes, and seconds. And date time, it creates a control in which the user can enter a date and time. Date time local, it creates a control with user can enter a date and time without specifying the time zone. A month, it creates a control in which the user can enter a month and a year. Format is year and month, and week is year and week. So we'll see the execution of all these elements. So this is the code where I've written code for all the elements of the form just in one single code. So let me copy and paste it here. So we'll see. So let me make this as, no, it's okay. So Control S. So now let me run this. Refresh. You can see here. So first, in the program, I wrote a label that is to in the text type to ask the first name. First name label is first name and ID is F name, and I need to enter my name there. The next label is email. So that particular label is asking to enter email. So I need to enter email there. So here, if you want, I can also give another label for password. And then I can write input type equal to password. So ID is password, name is equal to password, and break. So break is for going to the new line. So you can see, since I gave the break, email is moving to the next line. Next, I have given the paragraph element where it's telling choose your favorite web language. So I've given I've used radio buttons for this. So the radio buttons is having HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So I can select any one from this. So I can see here in the output. So three options are there. I can select any one. So if I select HTML, so HTML gets selected. I can type my name as Shashikala and email us something. Okay, let me give my email. Okay, and then next we are having the code for so you can see here this is the select. So select list is used. So where I get a list, I'll show you the output. You can see here. So list I'm having Volvo, SAP, Fiat and Audi. I can select anything. So it gets selected. Next I'm having check boxes. So this is the code for check boxes. Here it is. Okay, you can see in the select list within the option element, we have given the value is assigned to the value attribute, and that creates the values for the option. And in the checkbox, you can see we have value bike, car, boat. So your value attribute is used to assign the values. So checkbox show you the output. So here I have a car. So I can click on this. I can click I have a bike. I also have a bike. I also have a boat. So I can select whatever I want. Next is date and time. So to enter a birthday date. So for that you will be having the form of calendar. So I can give the date May 5th, 2023 or your. So it takes that particular date, given date. Next is the button type. Button type is to on click alert hello world. Click me. So let me click. So if I click, I get this page says hello world. So this is the output. That is a trigger that is giving to that particular button. So select the thing is closed, and we are closing the form. So this is all about the forms. Thank you.